So, if I may, who brought up this side conversation? Who said they haven't heard this? Where are you from? Don't you say something like Oklahoma now. I'm over here talking about being out in Hillsboro, Mississippi. If you're gonna be like, oh, I'm from the city, I'm gonna be very annoyed. Attention, YouTube crowd. Well, you guys are probably also the YouTube crowd. Have you seen any of the videos? Have you guys seen the videos? I know some of you do. I'm getting more and more subs and I see the names. Some of those names are reminiscent to your names. I'm not gonna call them out, but I know you're there. Anyways, what the hell was I saying? I got myself confused. Oh yeah. For those of you who have seen the videos, I'm able to do a pretty good edit by that send-off. I'm able to effectively break up the videos to a nice, clear, and concise ending. If you compare that to my earlier videos, I just seem to stop when the video just seems to cut where there is a, we'll say, break in the conversation. So it's a lot more unnatural. You know what I'm saying? Because when I looked into, when I would do it that way, is I was doing everything off of the actual audio lines. So whenever I saw a gap without audio, I would do a cut. But I've gone back after the fact and like watched some of these things, and I was clearly doing something like in the middle of a thought, in the middle of an idea. Let's not push-ups, but for the example now would be push-ups. So if I was trying to talk and I was like, all right, I'd say something, do the push-ups, there would be a cut in the middle of me doing a push-up, and it would come back to me doing push-ups. Like, it's a weird thing to be pausing it. Just because there was no noise doesn't mean something wasn't happening. So a proper send-off is a good way to, you know, do a break in the conversation for the videos. Oh, no. First of all, no. You telling me you never heard something like this? I know for a fact South Carolina got Southern Baptists. I know for a fact South Carolina got Southern Baptists. You're telling me you never once heard someone talking like this? Maybe a little more excitable. Not saying, have you been to church? Heaven knows, all over the public channels in South Carolina and a bunch of those southern states, they have the religion channels playing on every channel. Everywhere you go, it's just another pastor preaching at you. You can't, I refuse to believe you've not heard someone talking like this. I refuse to believe you've not heard someone talking like this. Can a water pump work through, can a screw pump work through a water wheel? Attention YouTube channel, you too can make RNG do the push-ups if you come to the live shows. South Carolina, what are you gonna do with all this power generation? Single millstone. I've heard that voice in movies. Like I said, it's an extra one. It's because part of the thing is it's easy to do. If you really think about it, it's easy to do. So it's not natural. It's like a Boston accent. If I want to say I speak with a Boston accent, I force the R's out. I can say I park the car. You know what I'm saying? I can force the R's out. Only extreme examples in Boston do people say every word like that. Usually they get more like that the more excitable they are. So you'd see it in movies when it would come up. You would see people being like, oh, what are you doing here? How'd you do that? Whatever, I'm screwing it up now. I got something more like Jersey than anything else. But you would see someone arguing, so you'd have that accent. Because if you see someone arguing, they're likely to pull out that accent. You'd have to be like from Southie or something like that. But in regular calm conversation, not necessarily. Like, there might be time for the R's. But I have seen a few people that were extreme in that regard too. I'm not going to say his name or anything like that, but we had a soldier in the military who, he had the accent to such a degree it was almost a speech impediment. It's not that he just dropped out like that particular type of R. He couldn't say R at all. but he was also from New England, so he had the accent. So it just made it sound like this almost caricature version of the accent, where like the R would be dropped from werewolf. That was one of the jokes that we'd done at one point, because I ran the werewolf game. So we'd said, oh, it's his werewolf and poem. That is me not even doing it justice. That's me forcing the R's out again. But he had a thick, not Boston, I want to say, but he basically had a Boston accent. But he had essentially a speech impediment where he couldn't say the R's. But since they were already naturally dropped, you could kind of understand what he was saying because it sounded natural to the accent. But it was so much worse than the accent was. So you would hear him and you would say, oh, he has a, maybe a Boston accent. But you wouldn't anyone from Boston would hear that and be like, the fuck is wrong with him? It's kind of weird. The closer you are to the proper accent, the more noticeable, I'll say, Hollywood accents are. I don't even think that, like, the Hollywood Irish accent isn't even Irish. It's not even close. The Hollywood Scottish accent isn't close. When it's someone trying to do the accent, not people from Ireland don't sound Irish, if that makes sense. Like Sean Connery trying to do Russian. It doesn't even sound close, but if you've never, been there, it has enough of the correct key points that you can identify what they're going for. What am I gonna do with this power generation? I'm gonna be God. No, really, I'm two things with this power generation. One, I'm trying to get it to where I have power. Yep, so I can have power. No, I'm going to use this, and I probably am way overdoing it, to run the pump stack to try to get magma up from the bottom. That's one of the ideas behind this. But another idea is I'm wanting to see if I can take water and create an aquifer. Beforehand, in a base, in the Oceanside base that I'd done it's on the YouTube channel, there is a video in there called Physics Doesn't Apply, or What Are Physics Anyways? In that video, I made this, but the water didn't freeze. So there is a screw pump water out of the ocean into a pure wooden reservoir bin that had the wheels. And the reservoir bin got filled to the end, and to make sure that the wheels turn, you need a difference in water depth. So I had a screw pump at the end pumping the water out. It pumped that water into another completely wooden artificial bin to store the water in. And the water went around a corner, and around the corner, the dwarves just got fresh water if they needed it. It never overfilled. If you watch the video, I somehow did something where I could dump as much water as I wanted into a completely wooden bin, and the water never built up. It absorbed unlimited pressure. So I had accidentally created half of an aquifer. I'm wondering if I can do it again. If I can do it again, I'm gonna take the clips from that video the first time and me doing it again purposely this time, putting them together, and I'm gonna put them on the Wikipedia, because I don't think that there's a known way to create an aquifer. Admittedly though, I think it's more probably just a glitch in the system exploiting how the ocean biome works. But everything there, wall and floor, was wood. There was no water there that I did not put there myself, and all the water went away. However, second addendum to this, that other version of this was done before they introduced light aquifers. So they're now, whatever had happened, might be a change in the coding enough to just prevent the entire concept from occurring. It may be impossible as of this recording. It's like the part of it that's near the border to North Carolina. It's like it's the part of it that's... Well, okay then. Sir, speaking of the army, have you heard they've been trolled by Twitch chat on their esports channel? So, one of my friends is also been in the military, and I randomly saw that the army had an esports channel, And I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly jelly. I was slightly, my jimmies had been rustled. I was annoyed, and it's fair to say a small amount of jealousy was occurring, because I remembered everything I had to do in the Army. And you know what I didn't get to do in the Army? Play video games. As a matter of fact, it was routinely I've joked about, because you're in the military. What are you doing with your time off? Oh yes, you're doing truck things. You are mudding. You're going out hunting. What are you doing, you fucking nerd? That's right, you're playing video games. By the way, as kind of a side into this, there was a fair amount of us that did play video games in our off time. It was Patriot. You're essentially computer radar engineers. Everyone was nerds. But ignoring that, for the story we continue. It's the things like the military. So it's like, oh, the competition is like, oh, who can do more push-ups, who can do more sit-ups, things like that. It's like, well, you could do more if you play less video games. And then now the Army has an esports channel? Get the fuck out of here. What is that bullshit? The Army has been telling people they're doing giveaways. There are actually links to the... That is amazing. That they're dicks. It's actually just links to recruitment. Blocks, screw pipe, and corkscrew and pipe section. That's kind of funny, actually. Hold on. Blocks is not done by me. Oh, they're all done by carpenters. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Physics 001. Interesting. It's just for recruiting. Doesn't the American Army have a game of their own? Yeah, kind of. But near as I can tell, it mostly sucks. We supposedly do. Units without beds. All right, who doesn't have a bed? Herbalist. I mean, to be fair though, my job was essentially a video game. You're staring at a radar screen looking at planes, and you're evaluating whether or not the plane has done something that may or may not qualify it as an enemy. And if you get to prove that the plane is an enemy, you get to shoot, or plane, not planes really, but you're identifying planes. That was more for the Air Force. But if it is a missile, then you get to shoot a missile and take out the incoming missile. It's essentially a game. It's just, you know, lives are on the line. So it's not as long as you're not some crazed sociopath who just views it as purely a video game. Like, I half joke about that, but that was a comment I had heard a couple times. For like the evaluators and shit. So many people would get into the van and they would like stress the fuck out, and they would fail the test, and they would screw up all the questions. I was never really that stressed about it, and I've been asked about it a few times. It's like, well, it's a game.
As leaves of green.
Well, no, it's not a game. Lives are on the line. Like, okay.
Up your goods to keep you fed.
It's a game. I'm literally looking at something that asteroids would put to shame. It's a game. Yeah. It's basically a game. Isn't that game called Dwarf Fortress Military Management Simulator? I'm used to watching Raiders a lot myself in the ADATs and Tunguska and other SAMs, AEMs, ATGMs. IGMs, SPAAs. Like for a game or in like real life. Anti-controlling missiles like the ATGM and LGM is most fun. So, but, okay. So yeah, SAM site. It's basically, it's a SAM site. Patriot is a SAM site, surface-to-air missile. If you've done a SAM radar, you know exactly what I'm talking about then. It's not a game. It's a game. Yes, lives are on the line. If I fuck up the game, I die. The enemy missile hits me, poof, no more me. However, the screen I am looking at shows like a triangle flying at me. It's a game. It's a game that I might die. Whoopie-doo. So many people would like stress the fuck out on it. Oh, like no joke. Is it behind this? Yeah, that's what this is. That's one of my missiles. I shot that. That's a picture of one of my missiles coming out of a launcher. That's my background. You know what? Oh, so you treated it like a game. That's fucking weird. Fucking had an excellent record. I had fucking amazing shit while still in. The trick is to not overthink it. If you're gonna die, then you're going to die. Basically, already sold your damn soul to Uncle Sam anyways. One of the reasons, though, when I was like really excited when I got the paper, and I was like, all right, you're no longer even in IRR. We cannot call you back in now. Literally at that moment, it was like, oh, holy shit, I have a claim on my own life again. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to just die in 2 weeks because of some stupid thing the army did. If you fail, then the fortress is lost. Yeah. Like, you can't be completely stressed out about everything involving it 24/7. You're going to snap. But some people would. Some people would, and it was like, dude, you need to calm down. You need to, like, take a little calm down pill, buddy. It's there, so the wall is really there. Back, front, wall is here.
Ugh, we need to build a trade depot.
Oh my god, I don't have a trade depot for you. How is our artist coming with this? Are we good down here with this? Can we start moving on? Kind of, not really. All right, we had a rather large entrance. I need to start working on the suites. If we bring this all the way back, bring it back a few, and then do the up downs that I was gonna kind of be doing earlier. But do this like a central pillar, you know, make it kind of look nice. We'll go 2 out from either side. We'll bring them out each to be 3 because the bottom one is 3. And then you can do it with a middle square like that. And what we'll have is going up and down, we'll have this circular room that will have a 5 cross stack of up-down stairwells to go up and down. And this was just some extra room if I needed to build some rooms off of this. Yeah, it's just life and death. Like, I know that sounds weird here. I'm not like downplaying the situations, but you're more likely to die in those type of situations if you are completely stressing about whether or not you're going to live or die. That's kind of half the reason why military trainings around the world are always so like crazy and strict. The whole idea is they're trying to get you to a point so that in combat you just essentially go off of muscle memory. Neuroses and overthinking it's going to get you killed more often than anything else. Well, either that or, you know, enemy having a very big weapon. Like, if you're stopping to overthink something, that's vital time that the enemy is getting closer to doing things. Okay. We got more migrants. I need to make a bigger dorm room. We've started moving things in. If I bring that room back up now, as is kind of part of the plan with this. Don't worry, most gamers who play games like XCOM 2 will be well adapted to missing a 95% point blank shot. So RNG, you ever play Speed Monopoly? I shudder to ask, what is Speed Monopoly? Is that Monopoly when you're on speed? Damn it. Screwed that up. If I bring it up one, what is it that sleepers hate? They hate mining, right? Or the workshops? Kitchen, I think, generates a workshop, so they would bitch about that. Something is wrong. Oh, you got an extra count out of you. That's what went wrong. It's just talking as little time as possible between turns. It keeps the salt away. Keeps the game moving. So here's the thing. If your Monopoly is moving slow, you're just not following. No, like, I don't think Speed Monopoly is required. If your Monopoly is going slow, then I suspect you're doing some of the rules wrong. Or you're not applying strategy to the game of Monopoly. Monopoly doesn't last like hours and hours and hours. It lasts a few hours, but it doesn't last as like, oh God, is this game ever gonna end? I don't think you need Speed Monopoly. For instance, hold on. Monopoly is a shit. It's not a shit game. You just hate Monopoly because you're bad at it. Yeah, I just suck a bunch of whoever suggests playing Monopoly. No, so if you have a bad thought of Monopoly, again, it's particularly if it's like, oh God, this game goes forever and doesn't do anything, then I suspect that you were doing Monopoly wrong. I do. I suspect you're doing Monopoly wrong. First thing, and this sounds obvious, but this is kind of like the core of a lot of the things that's occurred in the game that people just seem to think is how it works, and it isn't. One, there's nothing on free parking. There's nothing there. This is a key thing that needs to be understood, that doesn't happen. Free parking is just a square that nothing happens. Why is free parking being a square where nothing happens, like, not the linchpin of my current argument here, but an important aspect to be aware of? This is the aquifer. Don't dig there. Can be here. This is where the bedrooms are. And I will tell you, what it is where are you most likely to be in Monopoly? Quick. 7 seconds. Which square are you most likely to be in the game of Monopoly? Where the fuck will you be now? That's right, you're going to be in jail. Red spaces. No, you're going to be in jail. Everything in the game throws you into jail. That is the real focal point of the entire game. The number one place to have is the properties right before, I just said it, free parking. You're going to be in jail, weird champ. The number one property in the entire game to have are the properties right before free parking. Because you have 2 dice to move, you're always going to be in jail, and what is the most likely die roll coming out of jail with 2d6? 7 squares away from jail, land smack dab in the middle of the property right in front of free parking. However, second to that, while it is not the most common die to roll, it is in the middle to higher points of the bell curve that you in fact just end up within free parking. Because one, off the first roll, you could roll the 10. You could roll the 10 or whatever the hell it is and end up in free parking. That's possible. You have multiple variations to get a 10 on 2d6. 11 and 12 are rarer, so your overshooting is kind of rare. But you could always undershoot. You could always undershoot. You have the entirety of the bell curve to the left of you. You're beyond the middle. It is far more likely for you to come below 10 and thus have a second chance to end up with a cumulative total that ends up with you hitting a 10. Because you're hitting prison so often, there's a good chance at some point people are going to semi-regularly hit free parking. If you're semi-regularly hitting free parking and getting money for nothing, then your game's going to last longer. There are a great many other things that lead to Monopoly lasting far longer than it ever has any right to being, but this is like one of the big ones. It's like one of the ones that irks me the most. Free parking doesn't do a damn thing. If you have free parking doing anything, your game is going to be long and boring. It's going to be long and boring. The second part, more strategery than just don't do free parking. People don't use strategy in Monopoly when the whole purpose of the game is that it has strategy. Hold on, how do these rooms work? I'm trying to remember what the low quality suites were. Was it 1, 2, 2, 1, 2 like that? Was it a dumbbell motif? Hold on. All right, and then because that's as far as that would go from that, this would be where this one sticks out. We'll see what we can work with that. So they cannot throw, whoa, what the fuck? Monopoly is designed to be fun. What's your opinion on chutes and ladders? All right, so before I get to chutes and ladders, so Dominic is kind of right. Monopoly isn't necessarily designed to be fun. It is a game in which someone can have fun, but that's not the point of Monopoly. And the point of Monopoly, once you realize the point of Monopoly, you kind of will probably understand the strategy of Monopoly if you wish to win it. The point of Monopoly is to point out that monopolies are bad and evil. That's the purpose of Monopoly, which means the whole legit point of Monopoly is that someone wins really fast and people can't ever possibly stop them. Once someone has a strong enough of a ball rolling, the idea is supposed to be that you can't beat that player anymore, to point out to you that a monopoly is bad. So if people are not playing Monopoly with the intention to create monopolies, the game takes forever because you're not actually playing the game. The game, in this case, what Monopoly is trying to go for is, for one example, the hotels. Who really thinks that getting a hotel in that game is a good idea? I'll give you a clue. It's not a good idea. Never buy hotels. Because if you buy hotels, you're giving up a monopoly. There's only a certain amount of houses in the game. You have to buy each individual house before you can turn in 4 houses to get the hotel. So if you never buy a hotel, you maintain a monopoly on the houses. If you buy a hotel, they can buy houses. The hotel currency isn't supposed to be touched. Someone can have all the properties except, like, someone can have every property except the ones you have. And as long as you make sure that your properties have every house in the game, doesn't matter what they have. You can have the shittiest properties in the game, but if you have every house, they can never get a hotel, which means their properties can never generate as much as yours can. Doesn't matter. So from the beginning, if you just try to hoard up houses, not even necessarily on the best ones, you go for that. What would someone regularly think they should go for? Oh, Boardwalk and Park Place. You only need to get 2 of them. You're never going to hit them. You're always going back to prison. So backwards from prison is actually the least likely things to be hit. Ergo, right in front of prison, you're not going to have people land on that much. The one at the beginning of the game, not likely to have people land on that too much. Boardwalk right in front of it, you get how this is going. The further down you go, the higher the probability goes on it. So yeah, it's worth the most, but it doesn't do jack diddly. The opposite corner of the beginning of the game is the one that everyone should compete over. The beginning point of the game does nothing except give you $200. Whoopee-doo. Best part is, when you get out of jail, if you try to get out of jail, you don't really have to pay the money. You can blow 3 turns, and they do this in tournaments and shit. You can blow 3 turns because you can get out of jail trying to roll doubles. If you decide to use your turn to roll doubles to get out of jail, you're likely to fail. If you do fail, then you stay in jail. If you're in jail, you're not paying anyone else money because you can still collect rent while in jail. Jail is the safe square to be in. And then the safe places to own is everything right out of jail. But if free parking gives you money, if people are buying hotels, the game doesn't end because everything that the game has built in, designed to end the game early and aggressively, has been taken out. Even if I somehow don't get the prime spots by free parking, if for some reason I do the exact opposite, I get Boardwalk, I get those goofy pink ones at the beginning, I get all that nonsense. If I blow my money getting those instead, but I also somehow get lucky enough to generate money to fill them with houses and never a hotel, I greatly reduce the amount of money anyone else in the game can possibly make. When you have a stalemate in the game, it's because people bought hotels, and it's because they keep getting a surge of money from free parking. Now, this has created us to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 small suites. Do I still have written down the ratio I wanted? I think the ratio was supposed to be around 50 small suites. However, if I go much larger than this, I'm likely to have issues. So how do I rectify the situation of the suites? I know how to rectify the situation of the suites. I will take out 2 suites on the top and bottom to turn this into a sideways hall that I can use to generate an extra suite on top and bottom, because this will just fit in. Ta-da. Sounds like you're speaking of denial of house pieces. I am, but what is the supply? The idea is that you have everything of it. You have a monopoly on the house pieces. This is one of multitude strategies. This isn't the only thing. This is just the example I'm going with. It's just what I'm harping on. It is denial of house pieces as a strategy, but the idea being that you have all the houses. If you have all the houses, they can't work against you. That's literally kind of part of the point, is you find a way to dominate one of the markets. The market isn't the property. The property is a means to the end. The end is to have the houses, to have... I don't even think the utilities are that good, realistically. But that's what I'm saying. The idea is supposed to be that you get your opponent to a point where it's just feasibly impossible for them to win, or for them to even generate money. If you don't have free parking, going back to the free parking thing, and you have good properties, but your opponent doesn't, how do they stay in the game? How do they reasonably stay in the game after 1 or 2 passes? They can't. Why does this seem unbalanced? Because there's 2. I went too wide on this one. The game only takes forever because you keep putting money in, or if you're not doing that, if you don't have a good strategy where you have in fact obtained a monopoly. It's like Tetris. Tetris is an actual thing you can do in Tetris. A Tetris is when you clear out 4 lines. It is worth the most amount of points. If you're playing Tetris and not trying to pull off a Tetris, you're going to lose to someone who is. A competitive Tetris situation is going to quickly be determined in favor of the player who can pull off Tetrises better than the players who cannot. It is literally the name of the game. If you can pull off monopolies better than your opponent, you will win. But everyone just kind of does it as like a nice family game of running around the square. When the whole purpose of it is an educational game about why monopolies are evil and why internet service providers like Comcast are in fact the bane of existence. Hold on. I should go to jail to pwn Jeff Bezos. Not auctioning properly when someone lands on it doesn't buy it themselves. Another thing that makes the game way too long. Yes, all the properties are supposed to go fast. They're supposed to go really fast. If someone lands on it and they don't want it, someone's getting that property right then and there. It's not just a, oh, whatever, I don't want this property today. No, if that person doesn't have the financial stability or the proper planning to build upon that property, it works for you. Particularly if you can win one of the auctions, because what a lot of people do, if you're going with people who don't use strategery in the game, is they'll buy those early properties, right? Well, let them buy the early properties. If you land on it, let them do the auction, try to see if you can bump the auction up, get them to blow their money on that cheapo property at the beginning that you know statistically people are not going to land on. And then at the end, they don't quite have so much money. Oh no, I can't buy the property right in front of free parking. Oh golly gee, you can't buy it. I guess I'll just have to swoop it up in an auction. If I have one of your color, one of the color, you cannot secure the color. You don't have a monopoly on the color. You cannot use it against me. I can in fact prevent you from obtaining a monopoly in this regard. So you can't use it against me at all. And then I use a monopoly on something else. I bring up all the houses. What you are able to obtain for all 3 or all 2 of a color, you can't build upon. That's really the whole point, is just to let your opponent get properties, but make them be utterly pointless. There's only 32 in the box, 4 per house. Minimum is 2 tiles and 3 tiles the most common one. That's only 8 properties with 4. Yeah. Really, just fill up that left side. Fill up that left side. That's what, 6? That's the majority of the properties in the entire game. The original Tetris had no such definition. It did not have a definition of Tetris. I will grant you that. All versions after that did. The original Tetris also didn't have the grab bag. The original Tetris was a random piece of garbage that Russia was lucky took off. It got refined very quickly, though, to be a very competitive and very nice game. Is a max in Tetris 9999 and one can loop back to level 1? So one can stay alive forever and then one can get points forever. No. Till reaching the max score. I don't actually know about the max scores in Tetris. Hold on. 4. Now I've turned this from 3s to 4s. 4, 8, 16, 24, which is already what we had previously. 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. There we go. The new light suites have been dug. So I'm going to enable, I would like to request a low tier suite. Those are now being dug out as we speak. Now, the latest one, I'm forgetting what it's called on the Tetris thing, but the latest Tetris has an ability for you to get a quad 2 other syllables Tetris, where you can in fact pull off 4 lines of 4 at once within this weird slow-mo mode, so you can get a 16-line Tetris. And the man who is the best at Tetris right now actually pulled one off like his first time playing, because the dude is crazy. The Foggy Hall has many members and WheeledBlotted. That's what it's called. Hold on. I was going to change that name way earlier, and I couldn't remember the name when I wanted to. I'm gonna new adventures, get rid of the parentheses, or get rid of the comma, parentheses. WheeledBlotted. And we will update that. No, I don't think it's Tetris 99. It might be, but I don't think so. Tetris 99, I think, is the competitive one where you have 99 players playing against each other. No, there's some goofy one that can also be done in VR. There's like the Tetris experience. And like I said, one of the top dudes at Tetris was like, oh yeah, he played it on their game and he was like, can I try VR? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, put on VR. And then Bloom just did it. Just did it. Because now you can do a strategy. By the way, if you didn't know, there's a strategy to Tetris now. They have a thing called a grab bag. All 7 pieces are in a bag. You're going to see all 7 pieces before you see them again. So you can rely more upon your ability to count to 7 and identify when you're gonna get what pieces. They want a farmer guild. I will approve this. I will build you a farmer guild. I can't do a big one for you, but I will do one. Have I not gotten to you, Chulu? Like I said, see, it's always weird the beginning stream, because there's always way too many dwarves to read them all off. Farmers Guild. We'll dig that out. We'll put the Farmers Guild in there. Did I not? Because I did at some point just kind of half forget what I was doing. I stopped reading all the descriptions. Not has nickname Migration Wave. First of all, have I not done someone from the first Migration Wave? Did we do everyone from the first Migration Wave? We had a lot of people get named really fast, and we had a constant backlog, and at some point I half forgot what I was doing. I know which one you're talking about. Which one? Okay. The medium one's out of stock because I haven't dug any or designed it yet. I'm about to like go into edit mode and just not even have it show up. So it's not like it's in stock. It's called the low tier suite. Oh, sweet. I'll say it's filled with Corinthian leather. And I see someone's redeemed it. I'm gonna keep that in the queue for right now because your room isn't finished. It's got to get smooth and then whatever. Oh no! How is there damp stone? All right, dig around it. How much can I save? So, I guess I could turn those into prisons. I have lost access to 4 suites. Hopefully that doesn't extend up too far, because that would be really annoying. Do 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 do. They're moving up. I do like how I got that so close to the one thing. That's nice. That's real nice. It looks like someone's getting smaller than the average house. Yeah, who just requested a suite? I got a suite for you. It's a studio apartment. Don't worry, guys, it's a studio apartment. I hate that that's even a thing that exists, by the way. Those things annoy me. All right, what if I set this as a meeting area assigned to a location that is a craft guild hall for farming? I believe the farmers asked me for one. A lavender drink. The Foggy Hall, that did work. Only members can visit if guild established. I agreed to build a guild hall. This is a guild hall. Does this count? I need like a second thing to be like, you have done as you agreed. No, I don't think it counts. It's not nice enough. Well, it's for farmers, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take out the furniture in this room and start throwing it in the other room. See if that counts. There's still 7 jackasses about bedrooms. Stop showing up. It did show up in chat. What are you talking about? Cryptonym, I have you. Cryptonym, I want a low tier suite. Requested 4 minutes ago. Dragaman, I want a low tier suite. Requested now. I don't know if it shows you, but it shows me. Missed most of the stream because of work. Is the new base dead yet? No, the new base is not dead. Eldritch has gotten dwarf number 2. No one will tell me if earlier who I didn't get. Who have I not read from the beginning? We have a slight backlog on reading descriptions, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. I cannot remember who or what I read anymore. So I can read 2 descriptions, start bringing us up now, but can Dragaman become a hunter? Jesus, aren't you? No, I know what you're talking about. No, I need you. Stop trying to quit on me, boy. All right, hold on. Dragaman, you want to be a hunter. Here's what I'm going to do. This guy is Dragaman. I'm not able to move Dragaman to hunter. I'll just move you over here, not hunter. Dragoman. There you go. This is the new Dragaman. The old Dragaman, he's dead. We're gonna cut his balls off. He's no longer the mayor. Dragoman is now a hunter. Somehow you're not a hunter anymore. Where did Dragoman go? Did he die? What just happened to Dragoman? Didn't I name him? No, I named him an herbalist. There you go. You're not even a hunter anymore. That's what you get. That's right. No one is a fucking... All the hunters are named. All right. Animal caretaker. Fuck it. You're a hauler. Just because I'm getting confused at this point. Beekeeper. You're a hauler. Fire builder, elf hater, engraver. You're an artist. That takes you off of masonry. I'm going to need someone else assigned to masonry. Elf hater. 3 farmers. 2 of which don't do farming. Who does plant processing? You do. So you are not a farmer. You are a hauler. Fish cleaner is not a thing. You are a hauler. 2 fishermen, both of which is not a thing I actually use. You are haulers. Fish cleaner or fish butcher. This other guy's probably gonna join you because he's just legendary at it, like holy balls. I'm gonna have him be a fish butcher for now. Grease monkey, 2 haulers, 4 herbalists. Why the hell do I have 4 herbalists? You 3 are all haulers. Admit that through. 1 herbalist, no such thing. You're a plant lover. All right, 2 miners, 1 plant lover, 1 potash maker. That means you're a hauler. Tavern keeper. That is appropriate. So I'm gonna call you bartender. Free up all of that. Not have to worry about it. Wood burner, not a thing right now. Hauler. All right, why did I do that? Because now they're all haulers. I can set them to fill in the other jobs so that we can get the survivalist to quit being a survivalist so he can in fact go be a hunter. This is Dragoman, right? Dragoman. Rename him back to Dragoman. Classify him as a hauler. There you go. You're a hauler now. No, that's not what he wanted. Dragoman wants to be a hunter. Dragoman is now a hunter. I have nothing to hunt, but he's a hunter. Going to haulers. 1 artist. I don't like that idea. Who's best at this? I go to roles and look up engraver, this man would make the next best artist. So I'll put him as an artist. Survivalists need more skills or more people with those skills. So I will do roles. Who would be the best tanner? You would. You're a survivalist. Who would make the best leather worker? You would. So I'll make you be a survivalist. Make all those through, go to labors. Should have paid attention to who was which. Who was the best tanner of you two? He was. And that means the best leather worker is him. All that's committed through. All right. 2 artists, check. 1 bartender, check. 1 chief doctor, check. 1 dyer builder. We could probably have more, but we don't have metals right now. 1 elf hater, check. We're going to need grease monkeys. 2 farmers. 1 is really a processing guy, not really a farmer. So check. 2 fish butchers. 1 I'm just holding in reserve. 1 grease monkey. Grease monkey has architecture, but so does everyone else. Check. 8 haulers, 4 hunters, 2 miners, a plant lover, a survivalist, a water wizard. I am missing a tree hater. I do not have a person who cuts down the trees. So if we go back to roles, who is good at cutting down trees? Sarvesh, you are a tree hater. There you go. Things have been fixed. Genocidal is giant sponge sea animals. I want to murder the wildlife. Well, are there any huntable animals? No. No, there's not. Not even being sarcastic. We don't have an arrow industry, so the hunters can't hunt. They're just a bunch of jackasses that sit around all day saying, well, I'm a hunter. Read my thing. Where's your thing? Domine. I don't think you read mine, but I doubt there's much in there. I just fish. I want to load yours. What are you talking about? You didn't finish your original. Oh, read your character. Gotcha. Were you one of the originals? All I've been asking for is who's in the original 7 that I haven't read. I knew I read 6. No one ever told me who the 7th one was. You guys are all awful. Domine. Domine has 6 friends in life. Hellfire, Skyrim, Cyrillac, Mr. Man TM, Dragoman, Righteous Boner, and Bahoon to me 28. Domine prays to Id Guzelazen. Id Guzelazen most often takes the form of a male dwarf and associated with mountains. Domine recently thought, what's this about proper living? She feels gratitude remembering receiving water. She injured? Domine is mighty and very rarely sick, but she is flimsy. Domine likes ilmenite, nickel silver, alexandrite, giraffe horn, spears, greaves, gloves, millstones, earrings, dogs for their loyalty, the words of the chartreuse incenses, and the sound of the aquamarina trumpets. When possible, she prefers to consume impala, spotted ratfish, mead, and kaniwa flour. She absolutely detests mussels. She has a great feel for the surrounding space and the ability to read emotions fairly well and a sum of patience. But she has little willpower, a meager kinesthetic sense, an iffy memory, and quite poor focus. She dreams of creating a great work of art someday. All right. Now, if I sort this by migration wave, treat Domine or Dragoman. What did I just read? Domine? Oh, whatever. I meant my dwarf, yeah. That's the first time I've seen dwarf like a reasonably normal animal. Giraffes have horns? Well, duh. How else do you think they're gonna choke on air? How else do you think they're gonna beat each other? You gotta have a horn. All right. Give me a little bit, based upon my memory, that is. Give me a little bit and we'll do Alba War. We got Dance Stone again. Good. I'm so happy. And it's up there too. So we just lost, what, 3 more? Yeah, you make sure to dig out that 1 square. So I'm thinking that there is a difference in Z levels. This is the edge of the cliff up above. The whole thing is shifted 1 Z level down. Shroopala.
Called it.
So the aquifer that I meticulously avoided by 1 Z level came down on top of me because I forgot that cliffs exist. And I have no clue how to easily rectify the aquifer above me. Because this isn't the aquifer. If I dig here, I'd have to fix this aquifer. That's the issue. In order to fix a non-aquifer issue down here, I have to go all the way up here and remove an entire Z level of aquifers. No. I mean, yes, but sarcastically, no. Clearly, they have to use their horns. They're talking about the little stubs. They're talking about the little, like, giraffe stubby things. They're not talking about, like, horn. At the top of a giraffe head, you'll notice that they have 2 horns sticking out of the top. They don't have 4 ears. I don't know if you think they have 4 ears, but they don't have 4 ears. They have 2 little stubby horns at the top. Actually, I don't know if they use it for combat, but I think, if I remember random facts about nature correctly, male giraffes use the horns to hit female giraffes in the bladder to make them piss. So they can taste the piss, because if it has a certain giraffe flavor, they'll know that the female giraffe is ovulating and is thus essentially ready to be bred. But yeah, no, you're right. Whenever they swing their necks in like male-to-male combat, they just hit the neck, don't they? Sexy horns. Yeah, go ahead and try that. Just like Tinder, giraffe facts. Yeah, just go up to someone and just punch him in the bladder. Just start licking. You're like, you taste ready. You're gonna be arrested. Don't do that. Do not, for the love of God, do that. Where are my artists? Oh, they are down here. Why didn't I see you a second ago? Oh, because I was up here. I'm a moron. What I wanted to do is take what you were doing and extend it out 1 bedroom. Someone also requested a low-tier suite, so it must all be smooth. This is what we're waiting on, is our artist skill is so low that it takes forever for them to smooth anything. Now, we started getting more stones. Because we got more stones, we can make more furniture. Because we got more furniture, we can actually complete this finally. 5, 8. I need 8 chairs. The dwarven child was possessed. Good, I don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we hit cobaltite. We've been making everything out of granite.
The dwarf has claimed a workshop.
Oh, good. She claimed a craft store shop. Who could have seen that coming? I'm so happy. They are actually ears. They press them into the trees to listen for the sand sharks. Ah, I see. You have proven me wrong, good sir. Stab left. Did the migrants bring more cavies? I had a weird dream last night. Are you ready for a useless artifact? Yeah, I'm ready for a completely useless artifact. Did we in fact get a cavie? No. No cavies for you at all. We technically have a proper breeding batch of horses, though. My miners, I don't think, are mining right now. So we can mine that down. And we can mine this down. If we make this a big, even square, wall it, put a ceiling on it, this can be our ranch over here to the left. Oh, what? He already stopped? I grabbed wood and wood. What are you bitching about? Wood, wood, metal bars. Aren't they supposed to ask for shit I've reasonably had? I don't got metal. Do we have metal? What do we have for stones? We don't have metal. What the hell are you talking about? Metal bars. I can't even type in stone. I don't know. But I do see that as we suffer, we've hit the hour mark. So for those of you who are watching on the YouTube archive, you'll have to wait till next time to see if this kid lives or dies. See you guys next time.